Somali families deserve dignity. Let me hear you today. Listen, I think you can do it. This is the people's house. Let the walls hear you. If you believe that Somali Minnesotans deserve dignity today, let the walls hear you. Yes. And if you believe communities should not be blamed collectively for politics, let me hear you today. And lastly, if you believe that fear should not decide who belongs in Minnesota, let me hear you today. Minnesotans, my family, people need to hear each of us today. I want you to look around the room. This is not only what solidarity looks like, this is what Minnesota looks like. This is what Minnesota actually looks like. The workers, the students, the clergy members, the parents, the mothers, the neighbors, us. People from different communities standing together in the same space. And that means, and that matters, because people do not gather today over nothing.
Hello everybody. My name's John Benda. I'm a board member and co-chair of ICOM, the Minnesota Interfaith Coalition on Immigration. And I'm also a member of Lumen Christi Catholic Community in St. Paul. ICOM's mission is to engage in courageous, multicultural action in solidarity with immigrants and refugees, to achieve justice and to stand up to systems of oppression that dehumanize people and destabilize us families that are being forced on them by ICE. We are an organization of many faiths and no particular faith. Some of the things we do include holding a monthly vigil at the Whipple Building each second Tuesday of the month. So yes, we had one there this morning. Accompany immigrant neighbors to their check-ins and hearings there, and especially in the last 5 months, help families financially with rent, food, utilities, work permit, fees, transportation, and basic needs. Thanks. Last fall, I was part of an ICOM team that accompanied a Somali man to his check-in at the Whipple Building. He was terrified. His family had been threatened by ICE. He hadn't been out of his home in some time. He wasn't sure he should even go. But we met them there. We did the accompaniment. It went okay. And when he came out, he was so grateful. I received multiple hugs just for being there. And it was a humbling experience. We all recall the disparaging remarks that were made towards Somali people during Operation Metro Surge. You were told by our president that he wished you weren't here, that you were garbage. Because of those statements, I and others were activated to show up and stand up for you outside St. Paul Mosque. Some of my fellow congregants and ICOM supporters are here now that were there with me. We stood out every Friday during prayer time from mid-December to mid-March. Some pretty cold days. Although the reason we showed up there was a sad reason, what warmed our hearts was the gratefulness that was displayed to us. People that wanted to take selfies with us. They let us know they prayed for us. They wished us a long and happy life. They brought us sambusas and tea. It was just overwhelming. I was reminded at this morning's vigil that this is not over. There are still many more ICE agents in our state now than there were even before Metro Surge. We'll continue to show up and stand up for you, our Somali neighbors. And I hope you know how grateful we are for what you bring to our cities and the state of Minnesota. You belong here, and we are better because of you. We love you and we stand with you.
Let us say clearly what many people are afraid to say. This targeting is political. It is not about law enforcement, and it is not about immigration policy. An entire community was singled out and demonized and turned into political talking points. I didn't say that. The president himself said, Somalis vote as a bloc. Since when did voting become a crime? Since when did civic participation and political engagement became grounds to target a community? Another matter which is very important, my dear Minnesotans, when a crime is committed, it is committed by individuals, not by an entire community. No people should be collectively blamed, stereotyped, or forced to constantly prove their humanity and their loyalty in order to deserve dignity and fairness. I don't have to prove myself. We also witnessed harmful media narratives that repeatedly portrayed the Somali community through lens of crime, suspicion, and fear, while ignoring the overwhelming reality that Somali Minnesotans are hardworking families, business owners, students, professionals, and contributors to this state. One of the parents who attended the graduation of the University of Minnesota told me 600 Somali women graduated from the University of Minnesota only this year. I'm not talking about other universities, and I'm not talking about male students. Only female students, 600 of them graduated from the University of Minnesota this year. Let us be honest about another reality. The operation never truly ended. Some people may think ICE is out, they left. No. ICE changed the color, the tactics. When federal agents faced resistance from Minnesotans, from neighbors, faith leaders, attorneys, activists, ordinary citizens who refused to stay silent, the tactics changed, but the pressure remained. Today, many agents remain in the state under the names of investigative units and other federal operations. Immigrants are still being called into court, stripped of protections and rights, and placed into expedited removal proceedings. Families are still living with fear and uncertainty. When they could not dominate the streets by the way they initially planned it, because Minnesotans stood up and exposed what was happening, they shifted strategies, but in reality, they never left. Yet, in spite of all of this, the people of Minnesota showed up their true character. Minnesotans shed blood, tears, and yes, sweat to defend their immigrant neighbors. Neighbors defended neighbors. Faith leaders stood beside his immigrant families. Ordinary Minnesotans took risks, faced criticism, spoke out when silence would have been easier. That solidarity and sacrifice will not be forgotten. Today, we thank the people of Minnesota who stood with the Somali community when it mattered the most. Your courage reminded us that we are not alone. The Somali community is part of the fabric of this state. We are workers, business owners, students, professionals, parents, neighbors. We are not outsiders to Minnesotans. We are Minnesotans. Let this gathering send a clear message. We will reject fear, we reject scapegoating, and we reject political divisions. Thank you.